Okay, so here's something kind of wild. A recent survey suggests that most Americans actually want the US to convert some of its gold reserves into Bitcoin. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about turning shiny gold bars into digital money. We'll talk more about this in just a moment. BTCC is a crypto exchange that's been around for 13 years. There's no VPN or KYC needed to get started. You get access to over 300 different cryptocurrencies and leverage up to 500x. Plus, there's bonuses such as the 10% deposit bonus, and also you can get bonuses all the way up to $10,055. So, if this is something that you want to look into more, or if you're ready to get started, you can find that link down in the description below. All right, so this survey, it came from a nationwide survey by the Nakamoto Project, and it was done between February and March of this year, 2025. It used a proper sample size, which is 3,345 people, balanced by US Census demographics, so it's not just some random Twitter poll. The question that they asked was essentially, hey, how much of our gold should we trade for Bitcoin? And surprisingly, most people didn't say zero. Instead, most settled on a percentage between 1% and 30%. The sweet spot was right around 10% of the reserves in Bitcoin. Now, Troy Cross, one of the guys behind the Nakamoto project, said he gets why people are skeptical. It does sound like a huge shift, but the data held up. Very few people chose the extreme 0% Bitcoin, and younger people especially leaned toward including Bitcoin. In fact, when people were given a slider to choose the Bitcoin to gold ratio, most didn't go all in on gold. They actually wanted Bitcoin in the mix. That's a big psychological shift from just a few years ago when Bitcoin was seen as risky internet magic money. Even Dennis Porter from the Satoshi Action Fund admitted the results are kind of hard to wrap your head around because they suggest a real mindset shift. People aren't just seeing Bitcoin as a wild speculative asset anymore, they're starting to see it as a legitimate reserve asset, kind of like how gold has been viewed for decades. And get this, the idea is catching on in Washington too. So apparently, Bo Hines at the White House is pushing a strategy to have the Treasury Department actually start investing in Bitcoin. The way they plan to do it is by selling off some gold and using those funds to buy up to 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. That's huge. That would massively increase US Bitcoin holdings. They're also looking into selling Federal Reserve gold certificates to finance it, which is a pretty old school way of doing it, but it tracks with what's being called the Bitcoin Act of 2025, a bill from Senator Cynthia Lummis. The act basically frames Bitcoin as a strategic national resource, right up there with oil, minerals, and yes, gold. Oh, and remember RFK Jr.? As health secretary, he had already proposed matching America's gold reserves with Bitcoin's reserves. Not sure the connection there. Right now, the US holds about 8,133 tons of gold, worth over $830 billion, and roughly 207,000 Bitcoin, worth around $22 billion. So, yeah, we've got a long way to go if they actually want to balance those out. Even Donald Trump has thrown his support behind the idea. He's been talking about turning the US into a global leader in digital finance, and Bitcoin is a big part of that conversation. A lot of Republicans seem to be jumping on the digital asset bandwagon, so we're seeing a real shift in the political tone too. But it's not just a federal thing. States and companies are getting in on it as well. Some US states have already begun allocating up to 5% of their reserves into both gold and Bitcoin. Arizona is doing something particularly cool. They're building a digital asset reserve using using things like staking and token rewards, which means no taxpayer money is even needed. On the corporate side, we've got Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy. They're still buying Bitcoin like it's going out of style. And even Japanese firms like Metaplanet are hopping on, adding Bitcoin to their corporate treasuries. Banks are taking notice too. JP Morgan analysts are now saying Bitcoin could actually outperform gold in 2025. That's a huge statement coming from one of the most traditional financial institutions out there. They've seen Bitcoin's price rise as gold's price has dropped, and they're betting that crypto-specific events like ETF inflows will give Bitcoin even more of an edge in the second half of the year. Speaking of ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs have been pulling in serious money, while gold ETFs like SPDR Gold Trust have been bleeding funds since April. JP Morgan's Nicholas Pangrigotslio, try saying that 3 times fast, thinks that this trend is going to continue for a while. So yeah, between the survey results, new laws, state-level initiatives, and even corporations jumping on board, it's clear we're entering a new chapter where Bitcoin isn't just an alternative asset. It's becoming a core asset. The fact that people now want a slice of America's gold vault swapped out for Bitcoin, that's a major cultural and financial shift. We might just be witnessing the start of the US turning digital gold into actual policy. Let me know what you guys think about this. Share your thoughts with us down in the comments below. Again, you can find that link to BTCC in the description. And also, I'm over on Blue Sky at Crypto Atlas. We're just 5 followers away from hitting 40. If you'd like to show your support there, it's greatly appreciated. That's what I got for you in the video. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, as well as my YouTube members. God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next episode.